Hello, I'm Jerry Kirkpatrick, and I'm teaching the fundamentals of metal shaping. In this video, we'll be finishing up the 1941 Pontiac sill plates, and if you haven't seen video number 1, I would strongly suggest that you watch that first, and I'll leave a link to that below the description. In the first video, you saw that I had to make a 3/8 wide top die to get a certain portion of the sill plate made. In this portion, I'll be making a 7/16 wide die out of 1/2 inch plate, and I think you'll find that very interesting. Well, I did a sample part on trying to get the finished piece, and by using the 3/8 die that I just made yesterday, with that I don't have near the radius that is required on the outside. You can see the light in there. And this I took off of the original part. So what I'm going to need is something larger in diameter down at the base or the forming block for the inside of this. And then with checking with my radius gauges, this is right at 1/2 inch. So it's 1/2 inch that needs to be on the inside. In fact, probably just slightly smaller. Probably a metric, well, it's a Buick, so should be right at a 1/2 inch. So I looked around in my scrap pile and found a piece of 1/2 inch. So with this, I'm going to make another die a 1/2 inch thick. I think what I'm going to do, because a 1/2 inch really doesn't want to fit down in there properly, I think I'll make it out a 1/2 inch, but I'll face it off maybe a 1/16 of an inch, and then make the radius to that, and I think that'll get me what I'm after. So I'll make another die. Okay, here's the piece complete. I showed you a small segment on how I got this piece out of half-inch thick material. If that's something you guys would like to see from now on, or if you'd like to see how I make some of my tooling, please leave a message down below and let me know whether that's the kind of stuff you want to see or you don't want to see it, you'd rather see the shaping. So let me know what you want me to do in that regard. So this one here started with half-inch thick material, and it is now down to 437 thousandths, which is perfect to match the profile down in the bottom here. The first one I made is 370 thousandths, starting from 3/8 material, 375. But it was just too sharp, and it didn't give me a good distance from one side to the other after I made that profile. And this leg was a little bit long, so by increasing the diameter of the upper die, it's going to move this out slightly and shorten this leg up. So you can see there that it doesn't fit down in there. So let's get the bead roller set up. So the first thing I want to do is line up the two gears here, and if you notice right here, I have a line on the shaft, and then I have a corresponding line on the body of the bead roller. I do most of my setup from this side, and by lining those two up, I know that the gears are in alignment there. So the first thing I'll do is set up the bottom, and there I'm going to use a 5/16 spacer, and I'm going to be using the skateboard wheels that I cut in half, and I'm going to put those in so the tapered side is out, and that gives me a broader area in here to start the bead. Next, for the top, I'll use a 1-inch spacer on top, and that brand new die that I made. Next, I want to line up the two dies, so I'll loosen that up, pull this in, and I can actually just pull this down and set the die down in there and center it, and that gives me the right alignment. Then I can pull this back up, and there we have the dies set up. It's as simple as that. Next, we'll roll some sample pieces and see what the profile looks like. So I've made some preliminary measurements from the tangent point of this curve to the center of the die. The upper die was 450 thousandths. So what I've got to do is line that mark up with the center line on the die, and then loosen this up, bring my fence in until it's parallel, and then I'm ready to roll the piece. get this up at an angle that I can all I'm doing now is getting this angle up to a point so I can switch this one over to a flat and or leave this one this way and switch this one over to a flat, because the shape of the original part is this comes down almost straight into the radius and this one flares off slightly. So I'll just keep rolling these until I get down to where I can switch the pieces over. Okay, now I'm at a point where you can see that this angle here, these two, this edge flows nicely into this radius. So what I'm going to do now is switch these dies over, leave this angle the same, and start bringing this one up and find the angle that it needs to be. Well, I was totally unhappy with the results of the final few passes, so I went to the local skateboard store and bought a set of white, fairly hard skateboard wheels, and took one of them and cut it in half, and I'm using the original radius on the wheel for the first couple of passes that will get the part started, and then I put a 3/8 radius on both the inside, well, outside now. Now I'm going to switch this over, and in doing so I'm going to turn this around. That one you can see is quite a spacer. And that'll line these up. I'm going to leave it so this one is almost flush with this inside area here, and this one there's a bit of a space in here, and that'll allow this to come over at an angle like the original has. So I'm set up there, tighten that up. Get my first test piece. And this one, the reason this one is tight against this surface here is because this one wants to be at this 90 here to here. Most of the radius is going to take place in here, but this leg is going to come up at a slight angle. So that's why these are offset the way they are. So let's see what this first pass does. I'm going to go a half a turn. more like it. Now you can start to see that this is maintaining a 90 degree, and I'm starting to bring this one up. You can see how flattened out this one is. This one I just got finished doing. That was just before this pass. Now we're almost at 90 degrees within these two legs. Everything after this pass, we'll start bringing these up. So here we have the completed pieces, nice and straight, exactly the same shape as the original piece from the 1941 Pontiac four-door sedan. And don't think that it wasn't fun making these things. There was a lot that went into it. Here are all the practice pieces. Here are two of each size. Look how bent that one is and that one. So it didn't go real smooth, but the nice thing was that every time I made a mistake, or not necessarily a mistake, but tried one shape or one tool and it didn't work, I had enough experience, I guess you could say, to know how to correct the problem. Also, I want to thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel down there, and look at my website. On my website you'll see the instructions for how to make my bead roller. If you notice, while we're making just this one project, how many times I had to move the shaft back and forth to get dies to line up. With the quick clamp, I can position a piece and then clamp it down and then move my fence in. So if you have a flat plate bead roller and you want to make it usable as mine is, get on my website, and these are for sale. Alright, thanks a bunch. See ya. So if you found this video to be informative, please subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below the description. And if you like the versatility of my bead roller, I have a set of plans and a 10-minute video that will walk you right through how to make yours just like mine. And I'll leave a link to that under the description. If you like all the modifications that I've made to my bead roller, you can go to my channel, and there you'll see Building Gene Winfield's bead roller. And if you watch that, you'll see everything that my bead roller will do. If you'd like more information on my sheet metal shaping classes, feel free to give me a call. I'm Jerry Kirkpatrick, and thank you for watching.